We are a rowdy bunch.
Do you think, like, as someone that keeps kosher, when you go traveling, are you missing out on that cultural aspect of eating the food of the place?
I do believe in colors when it comes to flavors. There's orange flavor, there's green flavor, there's brown flavor. Yeah, but if I'm serving you a duck crepe with onion blackberry jam, thoughts on the Yeshiva system?
I want to know what a private chef actually does. Chef Mendy Wolf, welcome to Theorist.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
How's everything?
I'm great. This actually happened so clutch, really spontaneous. I think I reached out last week.
Yeah. These are the best ones. The ones that are like, why not make it happen right now?
Spontaneous is the best way. That's actually kind of how I started my journey as a chef. It was kind of off the cuff. I was doing sales for an office furniture company. Speaking to a friend of mine.
How old were you at this point?
About 25, 26.
Okay.
And I was getting divorced and I had time, I had money. I was trying to figure out what I was supposed to do with my life. And I was speaking to a friend of mine and he said, do what you love, invest in yourself. And I was like, I like cooking. He's like, so quit your job and start cooking. It's like, but I don't want to be a caterer. I don't want to own a restaurant. It's crazy. Restaurants are, high failure rate. He's like, just quit your job and go to culinary school. And that night I quit my job. I signed up for culinary school. I had no idea what it was going to be. I lived off savings until I could make it. And I did jobs for free for like the first half a year, just tons of free jobs, asking friends if I could cook them date nights, hosting dinner parties with single friends or just with anybody, cooking for friends for Shabbos, and spontaneous. That's how I'm here.
So what are you doing right now? Are you a caterer or you're a private chef? Right?
So you got to be careful. You call a private chef a caterer. It's like, it's really like a slur.
Okay.
What's the difference between a private chef?
Caterer is more running things. Usually they're not cooking. Usually a lot of caterers don't even know how to cook. They're more businessmen and delegators. As a private chef, I'm hands-on in the kitchen. There are jobs where I'm a little more hands-off, but I'm still inside the kitchen, still tasting, tweaking the recipes. I'm dealing with the clients one-on-one. The caterers are often just sending a preset menu options. I'll spend time on the phone with the client, detailing a menu, feeling them out, trying to figure out what they like, what their preferences are. It's a lot more customization.
That's a wild switch of career. You're a furniture salesman to a private chef.
Yeah.
Where that's more like a caterer, and then now you're more in the craft.
I'm more in the craft, and I would say sales is sales. As a private chef, I always say this to all the private chefs out there. We talk about it a lot, how you could be the best cook, but if you're not in tune to the client's needs, if you're not a good salesperson, you will not become a good private chef. I'm often dealing with mothers and wives who they need babying. They need to know that they're taken care of. They have preferences. They're planning an event for their family. It's in their home. It's in their kitchen. When growing up, my family had a plumber that we used and used to say the reason people hired him all the time was because he took off his shoes at the door. And when I think about that all the time when I talk to clients, like, what do they need? And it's sales. It's really sales. It's like, what does a client need right now? How can I fill that need?
So how long were you in sales for? And what are your tips from being a salesman?
Oh, I got
We could use all the tips.
Yeah, you want some good tips? Okay,
sales.
so I was in sales for like 4 or 5 years. I had some very, very good employers who signed me up for sales trainings. And the few things I learned is, first of all, never take it personally. A rejection is a rejection. It's nothing to do with you. Nothing, a no can be a no because the person's hungry, because they're tired, because they had a bad day, they're having a bad marriage. It's nothing to do with you. If you're offering them a good product and you see a need for your product in their life, then the no has nothing to do with you. The other thing I learned is get off the bus. If you see a client's not interested and you get the feeling like, if I could only just say this, no, just let them go.
Really?
Say no to them before they say no to you. Don't waste your time.
I'm going to actually move this a little down.
Okay.
Okay.
That's not a common take at all. Most people say if you get a no, keep moving with it, because any no is not a no forever, like you were saying. So if the person was just tired, now the next day they're not tired.
So that's where you have to be in tune to their needs. That's where you really have to pay attention. Sorry. That's where you really have to pay attention to what they need. And if you can be in tune to what they're talking about, you can know why they're saying no. If you see that they're really not interested, if they're playing you off a different service and they're trying to price shop, they're not your client. They're not the client you want to be dealing with.
My experience with personal chefs or private chefs has been, there's this TikTok trend. It's not even a trend at this point, but people will pretend to be a private chef for
their husbands.
Or they're just at home and they're like, so my celebrity client told me to do this and then this and then this.
Well, everyone wants to be served. Everyone wants to be served and treated like a prince or a princess.
Yeah, but I'm not. There are the husband ones, but I'm saying there are people in their houses pretending they are an actual celebrity private chef.
Yeah.
When they're just in their house cooking by
Oh,
themselves.
like actually, like not comedy. Like
Yeah, not comedy.
interesting. I haven't seen that.
But I want to know what a private chef actually does because there are different forms of it, right? It could be parties,
Sure.
some could be just in a house.
Sure. So over time, I've built up really like a large menu for clients. I offer a date night. I offer dinner parties. I've gotten involved in corporate parties, classes, one-on-one classes, one-on-two classes, pasta classes.
What
Ah.
are classes?
Classes where, you know, I'll come in for 4 hours and I'll show them how to make a whole bunch of dishes that they want to make.
That's like a date night or a class.
That could be more like a date night if it's a couple. I've done a pasta making like interactive classes for clients on trips. I've done it for bachelorette parties. I've done it for
Is it in the big wheel?
the big wheel. No, I have this like pasta hand
a
rolling.
cheese
handmade
wheel
pasta.
for a kosher cheese.
Oh
would
yeah,
probably be
like a
so
huge
expensive.
Parmesan.
yeah.
No.
Nope.
Can you get that for kosher cheese?
I don't even know.
Mm.
Sorry.
But what I was gonna say, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Yeah, back
Trips.
to the classes.
Oh, I saw you did Goumia. You did.
I did Gourmet. Gourmet was a cool event.
It's my favorite air fryer.
Gourmet was a very cool
Shout
event.
out Costco.
Shout out to Costco. they Gourmet hired me. That's a great example. They
Mhm.
wanted luxury, and they were willing to spend. And so
I thought Goumia was like a Chinese brand, like some.
They're company,
It's a Jewish company,
Yeah.
and they're in Costco.
Heimish. Yeah. They called me up and like last minute they added on like 15 grand to the budget. They added on for the party planner. They had a whole casino night, 7-course dinner. We had endless amounts of waiters and wine pairings.
Wow.
Yeah, it was real luxury. And the beautiful thing was about it, they did it just to treat their employees.
Mm.
And so that's something I'll get involved in. Some events, you know, aren't as enjoyable. You know, some events I'm really having a part in people's joy. When it's a date night, I get to serve a couple.
You watching them eat? You're like staring at
No,
them?
peek around the corner, you know. No, but you know, I put on some music so I don't hear the conversation. But
Where would this be? This would be
in their house.
In their house.
In their house.
No
yeah.
way.
It's very intimate. So it used to be super awkward for me, and I would be cooking and
Yeah,
like
what do you
they're in the
do?
other room.
Just
I just
disappear.
pretend like
To
I'm
be a
I'm a
chef.
fly on the wall. I'm a fly on the wall. They don't know that I'm there, or they know that I'm there, but they don't think about that I'm there. I hear everything.
Are
I hear it
you
all.
dressed as like a chef?
So I used to do the whole like chef makeup, you know, not makeup, but like the chef
The do-up,
jacket,
yeah.
the do-up. Private chefs nowadays, we started dressing more like I'll wear like a black t-shirt, black
Mhm.
apron, maybe like a beanie or my cap. That's how I show up.
Interesting.
It's more me.
Do you think the couples can be as open during their dates when there's someone in
I
their
wonder.
kitchen?
I think a lot of people, especially I see it on trips, I see it when I'm in people's houses for extended periods of time. They look at me just like the help.
Mhm.
You know, sometimes people have a nanny or a cleaning lady or something like that, where they're not seeing them so much as a person, just as a fly on the wall.
Is that
Wonderful.
scary for you
No, it's fascinating.
to be nothing? You're
I'm just there to serve.
interesting.
I'm there to help. But the interesting thing is, like, when conversations go on where I have a strong opinion.
Mm.
Yeah.
No way.
I've heard interesting conversations, and I'll give you an example. A couple was talking. Now, these are clients I have.
You
for
don't
a
say
while.
anything.
Sometimes I do.
Really?
Yeah. I have clients. Again, I have to really know. That's where it comes in. I have to feel them out, right?
Mhm.
Am I comfortable with them? Are they comfortable with me? Are they going to think I'm getting too up in the
Wait.
business?
Tell me what. Tell me what happened.
So I was with a bunch of clients on a trip. This was the second trip we did. I know them for a few years already. I've been working with them on various events.
Mhm.
And there was a group of few couples, and they're talking about how they're supporting their children in Kylo, and they're complaining. They're like, you know, it costs this and it costs that. And what do the kids need this? And why do they need that? And I was like, you know, as I'm serving, I'm like, can I ask a question? They're like, sure, go ahead. I said, if you don't agree with the lifestyle, why do you support it?
Mm.
And that's where the beauty of parenting actually comes in, where they said, this is what our children want. And they're supportive of their children's lifestyles, even if they don't agree with it. But that's like an example. I'll hear these strong hashkafic opinions,
Uh-huh.
and it like gets me. And
What
I wanna-
inside of you makes you chime in? You said you were nothing, and you probably should be nothing in that situation. So I don't know if I made a weird sound.
No. My job is not to comment, but we're also all from Jews, right? And there is a connection that has to be built when you're hiring a private chef. So I'm automatically getting to know them, especially if it's a trip or if it's an extended event. You get to be friendly with them. I'll spend 5 days with people on a trip with their family. I get to know the kids. I get to know the family. They're asking me questions about my life. I'm asking questions about their life.
It's supposed to be a personal experience.
It's supposed to, yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of times clients actually do again, you have to be very sensitive and you have to know. You really have to be socially adept. But clients kind of like it. They find it fascinating. First of all, they love asking about my life. And they want to be seen sometimes. So if I could somehow it's not on purpose, but if something adds to their experience, it's pretty fascinating to be able to have these conversations with them. When it comes to hashkafa, when it comes to marriage, one guy was telling me about how him and his siblings were having issues because their father's business, and he's getting older, and they're not sure what's going to happen when he dies.
And you're like, I'll take over the business.
I know. Listen. I wanted the job, but no. I actually told him. I said, I'm familiar. My family had a situation. My grandfather died. There was a lot of complications, and I said, just please set yourself up properly with your family. Just do what it takes to keep the peace. I don't know if it was my business or not. It could be the guy was turned off about it. It could be he wasn't.
Did they hire you again or no?
Those people, didn't hire me again, but I don't think it was because of that. I think they just my prices went up.
Oh, okay.
Some people won't hire me again after my prices go up.
Do you think, because we were in a similar situation this past week, actually, there's a part of it where I think a lot of people would be in that same situation where you're kind of the help and you have two options. A lot of people naturally, they aren't the person that would have that thought in their head. I should talk to them. I have an opinion on this. I have an intelligent opinion on it. Do you think it's kind of not your responsibility, but the most empowering version of you if you're the guy that shows up and you're in the room, you're not just disappearing?
So that's a very interesting question. When I come into a person's house, I bring myself. I'm not just there to cook. I'm there. They're hiring me because they're hiring me. They could get good food anywhere. They could get it from a restaurant. They could get it from another private chef. Why are they hiring me? They're hiring me for my personality. They're hiring me for my energy, what I bring to the table. Now, it doesn't mean I have to offer my opinion about everything. But if I'm being me, I'm going to be me. I'm just going to bring it all. And some clients have I was by a 6-person dinner, a bunch of siblings, celebrating a birthday. And they were talking about the yeshiva system, what they went through. And I was like, whoa, this is my jam. As I was serving, I asked them a question. I'll usually ask a little question to kind of see where they're at. Do they want more opinions? They're like, oh yeah, come sit down. And we talked for a half hour.
In a way, there's nothing more fun than what was supposed to be the thing in the background turning into your entertainment for them.
Yeah, it's actually fascinating for them because they're like, wait, 1 second. The chef knows how to talk.
Yeah.
He doesn't just cook. I actually sing a little bit too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'll offer clients kiddush if it's on a Friday night job, or sometimes there'll be you interviewed Penina Kunstler?
Yeah.
Right. So Ari Kunstler, I was on the job with him. And I got on the mic with him. We were harmonizing.
Oh, wow.
I can't do him justice, but I can keep up pace well enough. And the clients actually loved it.
Can we get a little snapshot of what
Birds
the singing
flying
sounds
high.
DJ can harmonize.
Not right now. But I'm just trying, because I'm feeling something and I don't know exactly what it is, so I'm trying to articulate it. But it seems like there's some people that they bring so much more than the title that's getting put on them. So like a private chef, generally you're thinking of, or even a chef in general, it's the person in the back who cooks the food.
Yeah.
Which is so not you at all.
No, I'm not the person in the back. I never was that guy. They say something about chefs that you have to have a big ego to be able to do your job. Well, they say chefs have the biggest egos, but chefs have to have the biggest egos. We're running a job with, there's 200 details, different spices and flavors and preferences to deal with, allergies, adding kosher. And I'm working in people's kitchens. They have, every client has a different kosher preference, different halachas that they keep in their kitchen that I have to keep track of. That's and crazy. If there's menus and menus and menus, and then I'm dealing with staff and I'm dealing with the dishes and I'm dealing with the lighting and I'm dealing with the flowers. You have to really believe in yourself. You can't be this timid little nothing. And I get together with private chefs all the time. We are a rowdy bunch. We are in each other's faces. There's a lot of kibitzing, a lot of trash talking, and we love each other. But we have to have a little bit of an ego, not a bad ego, just an ego. You have to believe in yourself. And when clients hire me, I always say there's a certain part of them that wants to be led. They're milling around before the meal, and I come into the room like, okay, so it's time to eat. Let's everybody sit down. I'm going to introduce the meal. Like before they know it, they're sitting down. Why are they following my direction? They want to be served. They want to be led, and they don't want to think. They want to just experience.
So what are you saying in that intro? How would you walk them through it?
Oh, you want to know like my go-to?
If it was me, I'm just walking up and being like, guys, sit down and eat your food.
Okay, so this is where Mike really comes in handy. So I'll talk. It sounds very sensual. I usually start off with a little bit of a speech like this. We eat with all our senses. We touch the food. Either we touch it or we taste it. We touch it with our tongue. We feel the textures. There's a crunch to it. Then there's a sound maybe, right, that we listen for. First and foremost, though, we eat with our eyes. Plating is a huge part of cooking. So a chef who doesn't know how to plate, it's almost a waste. You could just throw something on a plate, and by the time it comes to in front of a client, they don't want it. They're looking at it, it's like a whole mush, right? So if you plate nicely, so we eat with our eyes, we hear the food, how it sounds as we cut it. We feel, we sense how soft it is as we're cutting it, as it goes into our mouth. We taste it, smell it, right? We smell it first, and we taste it. And it's a sensory experience. And I'll talk to clients about this, and I'll introduce the meal, and I'll say, and so here in front of you, you have this dish. And what I put into this dish is this type of flavor and that type of flavor. I believe in levels of flavors, and I'll talk about where it came from, where I stole the dish from, which chef I took it from, how I tweaked it, how I leveled it up, what I did for them specifically. By the time they're ready to eat, it's like they're turned on for the food.
Yeah.
It's like chef's table. It's like the whole sensory thing with like the classical music in the background.
Yeah, no, it really makes a difference. Lighting makes a difference. Colors, scientifically, psychologically, blue plates are the most unappetizing color for plates. White and black are the most appetizing colors.
I thought it was red and orange.
Nope.
No? Why is
White and black.
McDonald's the red and yellow?
Black
Red and yellow is not bad, but white and black are the best. It
Interesting.
showcases the food best. That's why I'll go to some clients' houses and they'll have someone doing the lighting. They'll put like purple lighting. Your lighting is great here, but they'll put purple lighting and my food just looks off. And it's really frustrating.
Eating alien food out here.
No, yeah, it looks like green and blue when it's supposed to be like red and yellow or something like that.
We've been doing a lot of food.
Yeah, go for it.
You go.
Okay, we went to this meditation like a year ago.
Oh.
Which never happens, but it was a sound meditation.
Nice.
It's sound bathing, I think is what they called it. For an hour, you're laying down in like a semicircle or a full circle with all these different people on yoga mats.
I didn't like it.
And this guy has all of his different...
Too touchy-feely?
It was very hot in the room also.
You lay down, you put a blindfold on, and this guy has chimes and he has this weird sound instrument.
Uh-huh.
And
I've seen this. I've heard of it.
There's something about it where we have the same sense of sound all the time, but if you meditate on it, you experience sound in a totally different way. And even after for a couple of hours, you're kind of like, you can't get that focus out of your head.
Sounds like you guys had two different experiences.
I guess so.
It drove me a little crazy, like a little uncomfortable. I always need to do things. So I was closing my eyes. I'm hearing all the background noise. I could barely focus on the guy. I'm hearing the beeping outside. And I wouldn't have normally heard the beeping.
But that's the idea.
That's the whole idea. But it
You're
drove me a
tapping
little
into the
crazy. I'm like, how are you sleeping right now? I'm like opening an eyelid. I see everybody like chilling. I'm like, what is going on?
But the reason I mentioned it
Yeah.
is because it sounds like you're kind of inducing people into this food meditation. But what are you thinking about? What's the difference in your perspective on food? Like this sound meditation guy, he walks around with this focus all the time.
Right.
So what's going on in your head when you see food?
Okay. That's a great question. My view on food is that it's spiritual, it's psychological, it's connecting. People connect over food. I mean, think about history, right? Our history. We almost died. We didn't die. Let's eat. It's always ends up by food.
Is that just Jewish history or everyone?
That's almost history. That's almost everybody's history. But
saying
our history specifically, we almost died every time.
Right.
Like every Jewish holiday, you're saying.
Every Jewish holiday is surrounding food. The Beis Hamikdash, the Mizbeach, right? The Karbanos, lechem apanim, the wine pourings, right? Food is an essential part of our being, and we connect over food. Anytime, let's break bread, right? The classic let's break bread, like between two enemies.
Mhm.
That's how they used to make a peace treaty. It was food, because food warms people up. Food does more than just nourish your body; it nourishes your soul. That's why when I get into a kitchen, I turn on my music,
Mhm.
and it depends. If it's the morning, it's like more like acoustic chill. If it's the afternoon, or if it's crunch time, I'm doing EDM, like pumping.
So you're a
You know?
Spotify guy.
I'm a Spotify guy, straight
Do you
up.
use the DJ or no? Spotify DJ?
No,
No?
I got to try that.
No, don't.
I use it. Apparently it's a red flag.
Okay,
But I don't know.
I'll check it out. I'm all about red flags.
I think we're gonna need to talk about that.
Listen, you grow up with trauma, But when I get into a kitchen, I open all the shades. I go to the client. I say, "Where are all your light switches?" I turn on every single light. If there's under cabinet lighting, the oven lighting, the microwave light,
The microwave.
the one under the microwave, I turn that on. Yeah. Every single light in the kitchen has to come on, and I have to be at peace. So if I have a lot going on in my head, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I put it down. I just put on music and I zone in.
That's a lot of fun.
It is a lot of
That's
fun.
a lot of fun.
And there's a flow state that happens. And I know there are days where I'm not in a good zone, or I'm struggling with something or something personal. My food doesn't come out as good. And there are days where I'm really rocking it everywhere in my life, and the food is banging. The food comes out, and the clients feel it. There's something about it, and my energy really affects their party. It really does.
You think it's an energetic thing, or
Yeah.
if you're in a bad mood and impatient, then now you're focusing on something else. Now you forget, you like slightly burn something.
No, because I always make sure the job gets done. So technically the flavors are the same, but I believe that there's a love that goes into food. And I have clients who I've cooked for who I don't like them as much.
Oh.
And I noticed my food is not as good. It just doesn't seem
Got a
as
little
good.
bitterness.
It doesn't seem as good.
But they
If
still
I
hire
like
you?
the client, no, listen, it doesn't mean they're bad clients. It's just like maybe they're a difficult personality,
Do you think your favorite clients get the best food?
Of course.
Mm.
Listen, marketing, right? If someone's going to hire you and you really vibe with them, you're going to give them everything you can. Now, it doesn't mean I'm giving any clients less. It just means that with certain clients, I'm giving them above and beyond, and I don't care to. I'm so happy to. I want them to be happy versus some clients, I just want to get the job done.
You were saying food is culture and like you could connect over food. Do you think like as someone that keeps kosher when you go traveling, are you missing out on that cultural aspect of eating the food of the place?
Kosher food has a lot of culture. Different areas, Sephardim, there's Sephardi food, right? There's Israeli food. We don't have many different like food ethnicities within the kosher world. We got what I call like for European ancestry, it's brown food.
Mm-hmm.
Overnight brown food is
Cholent.
yeah, that's
Kogel.
cholent. Overnight kogel is brown food. It's brown tasting food. That's one ethnicity within the food world, kosher food world. And there's like
that brown chicken that they have at like Schmorgs, you know what I'm saying?
the sesame chicken.
Yeah, dude,
Well,
that's
sesame
crazy.
chicken. I mean, that's more like Asian profile.
That's
but now
not
it's more
that's not
American.
Asian.
It's not Asian
that's
anymore.
Jewish. It's
That's
not even
Jewish.
American.
Yeah, they say on Christmas all the Jews go to Chinese restaurants. But
Kosher Chinese.
when I do travel, I find that I actually eat super healthy.
Mhm.
My clients eat healthy because there's very little ingredients to be found. Very little kosher ingredients to be found in a lot of these countries. So my cooking is automatically healthier. I'll come back from these trips and like, I don't want to go back to eating nash or anything like that.
What countries?
I've been to Peru,
Mm-hmm.
Turks and Caicos, Portugal.
Don't even know what that is. Yeah.
Turks and Caicos is, I think it's in the Caribbean or Virgin Islands. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Again, some of these places have a lot of, kosher products. Portugal, obviously Israel, and then a whole bunch in the States.
And what are you cooking in the South American countries?
In Peru, there's 400 types of potatoes that they have there. They have tons of different types of potatoes. So I tried, like every night was like 3 different potatoes, I think, if I remember correctly. I definitely used a lot of potatoes. European food, well.
No, you're making European food.
Well, Peruvians just use a lot of potatoes. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I don't think, I don't look at,
Was there meat? Was there anything else?
We
or-
brought the meat. We brought a lot of
Oh.
meat there. We got some from Chabad. Peruvian food actually has a lot of citrus, a lot of brightness. A lot of Latino food in general is like bright and flavorful,
Mhm.
colorful. I always say like,
You get excited over it.
oh, I love it. Yeah. I always say like the culture's dancing is very similar to the food.
Okay.
Right? Look at French dancing. Very like ballroom-ish, like, waltz, or,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
and the food is very like by the book
Mhm.
and luxurious and decadent, right? And then Latino food is spicy, right? And think of Latino dancing, right?
Mhm.
Country is like more like swinging a little bit.
I mean,
and
salsa's a food.
salsa's food, but salsa is also a dance,
Mhm.
and it's not so far apart.
Double entendre. I don't even know what that means.
Double entendre.
I think you got it right, by the
Yeah.
way. I think you actually got it right.
It's just something that has two meanings.
Yeah, there you go.
I have, before any episode, I put out a message on WhatsApp status and just say, like, we're having this person. What should I ask them? One of my friends is very into cooking,
Okay.
and he said he was thinking about becoming some sort of chef.
Okay.
And he wanted to know if you went to culinary school, and if you did, what it's like keeping kosher.
So I went to the Kosher Culinary Center.
Okay, what does
It's a
that mean?
kosher. It's a kosher culinary school
In
in Brooklyn.
I
I unfortunately did not graduate because I got too busy with jobs and I missed too many classes.
Nice.
respect that.
Yeah. Listen, you got to work. You got to work. But I learned a ton. So I can't answer that. It depends on your religious level. At the end of the day, certain rabbis might tell you, "Oh, you could put the food in your mouth and taste it." I don't know. Personally, I wouldn't go to non-kosher culinary school because it would be too hard to go back. Like let's say some rabbi would give you a heter for tasting something. I don't think they would, but let's say they would. How can you go to eating kosher food only when you taste a steak with butter?
So you think not kosher food is better?
How can a steak
Theoretically.
with butter not be better?
They're just people that say that kosher food is just as good.
So understanding flavors, I could tell
even
you,
better.
meat with cheese would be dope. Like a chili with some melted cheese on it, a burger with melted cheese. Just the flavors go. They go together.
Why do you think it is that we can't eat? If the food's better, why can't we eat it?
I mean, there's the halacha. I don't understand. I don't claim to know why the halacha is that we can't eat milk and meat together. We can't eat milk and meat together because there's a pasuk that says you cannot cook. I think it's the meat in its mother's milk.
Mm-hmm.
And then we take that and then we say that means you can't cook meat and milk together. And then now, already years later on Gedarim and Gedarim and Gedarim, and the halacha that we have nowadays is that we don't eat it together. We don't even eat it close to each other. Some people
How long do you wait?
I wait 5 hours.
In 1 minute?
5 hours and 1 minute into the 5th hour. Yeah, man. Dutch people wait 30 minutes.
I thought it was an hour.
I think it's like 30.
Oh, wow.
It's close. It's close.
We do a lot of restaurant reviews. And at the beginning, I was kind of like, all food is the same. What's the big difference? But slowly, as we're doing more and more, I'm starting to see that there is a lot of depth to it.
Shout out Marani.
But it's this, you're not going to be exposed to the wisdom of food just naturally. So I've never been exposed to that. Maybe some from eating decent food.
Right.
But where is the wisdom there?
Food is an endless world. And the crazy thing about food is, you'll hear people talk about technique. There is no rules. You can cook anything you want, however you want it. Yes, there's cuisine. There's recipes. You want to follow a recipe. But if you're a real chef, a real cook, where you believe like in your ability to cook and you understand food and you understand flavor profiles, how things go together, there's endless amounts. There's never an end. And the crazy thing is anyone could do it. So when you go to any different restaurant, it's the chef. It's not about what foods he's serving. If he's serving you a burger, why does this burger taste different than that burger? He might have a tiny part of his technique that he does that changes a little bit of flavor. There are some burger places, they'll shave the buns a little bit. They'll shave them. Like it's like they have a machine that takes off all the extra crumbs.
The swirly thing?
Yeah.
That takes
You know
off the
why?
extra
I thought
crumbs?
it puts butter on it too.
There's that. I think it's that. And I think it also takes off that extra crumbs. I'm not sure, but like it's a tiny little detail.
Mm-hmm.
And that could up the game. Some chefs have a specific spice rub they use. Some chefs, I only use kikkoman soy sauce. There's other types of soy sauces. I like kikkoman soy sauce. That's my flavor. That's what I use. I know other chefs who like they throw a certain vegetable into almost everything they cook. It's the way they cook. And so a chef's personality and a chef's style of cooking is his wisdom or her wisdom. When you cook, I could cook for 30 years and I still have not touched like the ultimate level of cooking.
What are descriptors you could use? Because also being part of the podcast space, we're learning about audio.
Okay.
So I saw this video where this guy has a chart and you just listen to the audio and you think like, okay, it's sound. How am I going to describe that? How am I going to pick the different pieces apart? But at least for me, I'm very visual. So he has a map and it's like, there's this part with these words. This is harsh. This is boxy. This is bright. So even you were defining food or describing it with words like colorful.
Yeah.
So what's the vernacular? All the
So
vocabulary?
as if I was explaining to someone who's blind, let's say.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I would describe the textures. Crunchy, soft, tender. Let's see, chewy, right? Chewy is something. Describing colors to a blind person is hard, but I do believe in colors when it comes to flavors. There's orange flavor, there's green flavor, there's brown flavor, there's red flavor. Certain color profiles have certain flavors.
What does that mean? Like,
And they're not
red-
actually red in color? It's
No,
just a
red vegetables have a certain red taste.
interesting.
I don't know how to explain it. Red peppers taste different than yellow peppers, right?
They do, but I don't feel like it. Maybe it does taste like red.
Carrots
Red is
and
pepper.
orange peppers have a defining, like, agreeing flavor between them.
Where do you pick that up from? Like, where do you find out that?
There's green flavors, like green spinach, green beans, asparagus. There's a certain greenness. It's a leafy tree type of flavor.
Are there rules within?
But does an apple taste like kale?
No, but a green apple tastes, if you tap in,
Mm-hmm.
you could sense a greenness about it. It's more bitter. It's more earthy, right? A green apple, it's slightly, it's not the sourness, but there's a certain earthiness to a green apple.
I wish we had food
the
here.
peel specifically, actually. The peel.
I wish we had
a whole
food
bunch
here,
of colorful
blindfold you, and then put it to the
Tell me what
test.
color it is.
Yeah, that'd be
be
so
cool.
much fun.
There's food meditation also. I think it's something in Kabbalah also.
Maybe.
Someone in Landers once. I went to Landers.
I mean, brachos are a
Yeah.
huge deal. Like, we're thanking God for sustenance, and food's not just physical. It's not just physical at all. And there's actually restaurants out there. I wanted to do this for our concept, but never did, and maybe I will one day. But they have blind restaurants where you go in, it's dark, and you order your food, and you sit and you eat. You have no idea what you're eating.
I went to the Blind Museum in Israel,
That's cool.
and they have like a store there.
They have a cafeteria.
Yeah. So I bought a bag of green Doritos. Best Doritos ever.
Saying, would I be able to tell you they were green?
I mean, I could tell by the smell because the purple ones, I don't like them.
Right.
But anyways, I was eating it, and it was the best bag of Doritos I've ever had.
Because all your other senses are shut off.
It was unreal. It was
All
very
your
good.
other senses are shut off, and you're just like, your taste is amplified.
And then I also got Skittles, and it was too sweet. Too
Because
sweet.
it's so artificial.
And then I ate it outside, and it wasn't too sweet. I finished the bag. But
it is cool that you can, if you focus on it, at least I can like see the simplicity in food in a way
Yeah.
that I didn't see it before.
Yeah.
Especially, I think you probably know more about this. The development in your mind from childhood to adulthood,
Oh, core memories.
in the
We have
taste.
core memories in flavors and smells.
but also what you like. Like you stop liking candy as much because it's that cheap taste.
Maybe.
never.
Well, when you get healthier, like I'm more on a health journey nowadays. If I ever like cheat on my plan, right? The flavors aren't real. I'll see a bag of processed food. I'm like, it doesn't look natural. It doesn't feel natural. I don't want it. But going back to like when we're younger, our flavors are built by how we grow up. And I'll tap into that when I speak to clients where I'll notice a certain personality. I'll be able to sometimes guess what they like.
Mm.
So what do I like? What does Oscar like?
You guys are wings, burgers, barbecue.
I like burgers.
Burgers, barbecue.
I'm
Hold
a
on.
tricky one.
Sushi,
I like,
raw fish,
like
I kind of
sushi.
like
raw fish.
The one thing, I'm a trick because I barely have a sense of smell.
Ooh.
Oh, that's
So I'm
interesting. Is
like-
that from COVID?
Yeah.
Oh, after COVID, grapefruit tastes weird to me.
So now maybe it's impossible. Like you can't read me.
Interesting.
If
So your
it's just-
flavor has
it's
changed though.
I'm a big trick.
Well, you like Skittles. You like Doritos.
I love candy.
You're a nosh guy. You
Not really.
said you like candy.
I do like candy.
Okay.
But like very specific candy.
Not
Like,
the Nosh candy.
I won't eat a Laffy Taffy, but I'll eat I won't eat Gushers. But if it's in the freezer, I'll eat it.
Those chicken nuggets. The microwave chicken nuggets.
I mean, I grew up on those.
You grew up
but
on those.
I wouldn't eat.
love
I would
those.
only eat them if you gave them to me. I'm a real trick though.
Okay. Like cheesy spaghetti, simple.
My mom's Sephardi, if that gives it away.
That's interesting.
So
Now,
I like the acidic, like tamarind, grape leaf flavor.
interesting. I wouldn't have figured that, by the
Yeah,
way.
it's
You
a
look very
trick.
white.
I'm very white.
Okay.
Now that you're more healthy, and you're probably researching the health side of all the food instead of
For
just
sure.
the taste.
For
So
sure.
what are you learning?
Wow. I'm learning. First of all, I think health affects our moods. It affects our personalities.
hmm
It affects our relationships. Now that I'm more tapped into it, I'll see, especially in relationship dynamics with husbands and wives, the guys who are overweight, ones who aren't, ones who are more taking care of themselves are more able to take care of their families. But when it comes to actual food itself, I start sensing a certain artificialness about certain flavors and products that I don't like in my food anymore. Again, I
Interesting.
don't know, people say canola oil isn't as bad. It is as bad. There's a flavor to it. I feel it. I taste it. When I taste something fried in canola oil now, I can taste it doesn't taste as good to me. Avocado oil tastes much better.
Going RFK on us.
Yeah.
And you think
Colors and dyes also, it's true. It's really
I
true.
ate this Dunkin' Donuts today, and the fake bacon was all pink.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this looks gross.
Yeah.
It tastes the same, but it looks disgusting.
I mean, you don't know bacon. Yeah. Do you know what bacon tastes like?
No.
Okay. So.
But what
Got in
about
trouble
the-
here?
I don't know what bacon tastes like.
I don't. No, I actually don't. I never
But
had it.
It's cool if you do.
What
it.
about all the artificial stuff, like the Doritos, like the
Yeah.
Gushers? Is it just that it's addictive,
Very.
but not good? Because I think
It's
it's
not-
It's so
it's
good.
not as
It's
good.
so good. I'm sorry.
Spend a month eating clean, and you will taste a grape. I eat grapes now, straight from the fridge, and the flavors pop. The
I did a
juice
month-
pops in my mouth.
I did a month without sugar. No sugar, no fruit sugar, nothing.
and no artificial food.
I mean,
Almost impossible.
it's impossible.
Almost
but
impossible.
once I ate candy again, I'm like, wow, this is so good.
But it's good because it's addicting. There's something that it does to your body, just keeps you reeled in. I mean, think about it.
I don't have access to it
How
all the time.
expensive is it to stay healthy? To buy grapes,
Too
you could
expensive.
buy a bag of grapes. It's $10. To buy a bag of licorice is $5 or $3. Why? There's a whole process to make the licorice. Why is God's given organic, natural food more expensive than a bag of licorice?
I don't know.
They want you to eat it. I'm not big into conspiracy
Who's
theories.
they? Who's they?
Whoever's making money off of it.
So they're engineering it to be tastier.
How hard is it to process a bag of grapes? There's not that much to do.
Now they sell the frozen grapes. Are those healthy?
They sell frozen grapes?
Yeah, with sugar
that's
on
cool.
it. Yeah.
With sugar?
Yeah.
Come on.
Maybe not actual sugar. I don't know. But every truck in New York City has them.
I didn't know that. they
But so
put
you think
sugar
it's
in
just because of the addictive qualities of the other food that's
it tastes
what
better
about
because
all
your
the-
brain, there's chemical, there's limited.
isn't
If you properly research it, there are chemicals in there. I don't know enough about it to talk about it, but there are chemicals in there that bring out certain levels in your brain, levels of chemicals, release chemicals in your brain that make you want that food more. That's it.
Are there rules within the whole culinary world? Like you have the color wheel or color theory for colors, and you have different cinematography rules. Are there rules? Because I love rules.
I mean,
Makes
there's
it so much
certain
easier.
there's certain basic rules. There's like rules about cleanliness, right?
Okay.
There's rules about bacterias and all that. Raw chicken and raw meat. Dealing with that.
Like food pairings.
yeah. There's sweet and spicy, sweet and savory. There's acid. Acid combats sweetness. Acid combats heat. Lemon will cut through something spicy. A lot of Latino food has spicy and then lemon or lime.
How do you fix your food if it's too salty?
Okay, so you add some sweetness, like some
Okay.
honey. You can add some acid, like mustard or lemon.
Uh-huh.
Depends on what you're cooking, because lemon doesn't go with everything. You could add some savoriness, soy sauce.
I learned the hard way that lime doesn't taste like lemon.
Lime's sweeter,
Uh-huh.
less tart, less makes you pucker up less.
What about like plating? Like, I know that there's the fancy back of the spoon. You know what
There
I'm
are
saying?
rules to plating.
I see this at some kosher restaurants. They have everything right, but it looks wrong in front of me. Like there's like a whole plate of arugula. I'm like, what the hell is this? But they put the line of sauce.
As long as they put the line of sauce and
they
everything's
put the
good.
meat on it. and-
Yeah. So there's certain basics, but when it comes to plating, I also learned about this in culinary school, and I've seen it with my own eyes. There's patterns. There's numbers. Odd numbers are more appetizing. I don't know why. It's a rule. It's a rule about plating. Odd numbers.
Is that why they give you the most unshareable portions?
Yes.
That's
also,
crazy.
they probably want you ordering more. Because if you have like a half left and they got to split it.
That's the same feeling of like this guy is working for 10 hours when it could be 2 hours because he wants more money. It's not an enticing way to get me back in the restaurant.
If you're in tune to it, but not everyone's in tune.
We're all Jews. We're all Jews eating at kosher restaurants.
We're
What do you
looking for the
expect?
discount.
Exactly.
Yeah, with plating, there's height, right? You don't want something that looks too flat on a plate. It's colors that go well together. You want some greens, you want some whites, you want a little bit of red or black.
I want to hear your thoughts on the yeshiva system now.
Oh, we're just gonna go straight, like left turn.
I've been waiting for it. Yeah.
Thoughts on the yeshiva system? I loved yeshiva. I made some of
Where do
my
you
best
go?
friends. I went to Aruvain for high school.
Oh, wow.
In
Robert
Muncie.
Dinsky's. Yeah,
That's a very yeshivish place, right?
so it depends on where you're coming from.
Mhm.
From where I grew up, it was pretty mainstream, middle of the road. Then I went to Yeshiva Gedol of Teaneck, which was like a place where
I didn't even know Teaneck had a
Teaneck
yeshiva
has a
gedola.
yeshiva, an actual yeshiva. It was guys who were too smart for their own good, could not sit and learn too long, and needed just some love and care and just a place to just be. Like we used to go bowling once a week.
Crazy.
N-
Wild. You
in
guys are
yeshiva-
living
In
like
yeshiva, in base medrash, right, in the
Mhm.
yeshivish world, you're learning every night. My thoughts on the yeshiva system are that it's a beautiful system, and the world needs Torah. And without Torah, there's anarchy, and the world will fall apart. Not everyone's cut out for it. Not everyone should be cut out for it, and we shouldn't be pushing it as hard.
Did you
As
learn
we
that
are.
the hard way?
I learned it the hard way. Well, listen. Waterbury. Waterbury is a beautiful place. Why is it so good?
Mhm.
Because they have guys who come in and they turn them on to Judaism. They really give them a love for Judaism because they don't make them feel like nothing because they're struggling. They make them believe in themselves. And then these guys are like, wait, I am something. I can learn something. Growing up, and I'm not going to blame it on one specific person or not. Just growing up, I didn't believe that I had the ability to learn as well as the next guy because I had a harder time sitting. I wanted to be out and about. I broke rules more often. Automatically, I was in this category. Now, I'm not a yeshivish guy. I put on tefillin every day. I try to daven as often as possible. I try to go to shul on Shabbos. I keep Shabbos. I keep kosher. Right? But I'm not, by all means, not a super religious guy. But I give a shiur every week in my house.
Really?
Yeah, I
On
give a
what?
shiur. Pirkei Avos.
Ah.
We need some of that.
Yeah.
I was just filming today. Is this Pirkei Avos or is this Kanye?
What do you
What?
mean?
Yeah, he would say Kanye West quotes and Pirkei Avos quotes, and he had to guess the difference. It was with Dovey. It was hysterical.
That's so unusual.
Is that the shiur you're giving or no?
Not on Kanye.
Oh,
No,
okay,
no,
fine.
no. We keep Kanye out of it, especially with the Hallelujah song, which, by the way, has got a drop in the beat that's kind of dope.
It's very catchy.
It's very
That's
catchy.
the thing with
He
him.
always wins.
He is
It's
the
pretty
best.
crazy. Hey,
Yeah. Kanye just needed a better yeshiva system. He needed Waterbury.
Kanye needed love.
He needed Rav Kalish.
He needed Rabbi Kalish. If Kanye had Rabbi
He can
Kalish,
still need Rabbi
he would be
Kalish.
like Amari. He would be Jewish now. He would. Rabbi Kalish would make him Jewish.
Coming soon.
Coming
If
soon.
That could happen.
That'd be a crazy
Listen,
rebound.
with Kanye, you never know. That would be the best
all
marketing
people, it
stunt
could
ever. The
happen.
best marketing stunt ever.
You think he would get his kids back if he became from?
I don't think he's firm enough for Kim, Yeah, but growing up, I didn't believe that like I had the ability to learn in the way that. But that's the beauty. It's the same thing with cooking. Actually, anyone can do it at whatever level you're
Chef
at.
Cousteau
Chef Cousteau, which is from
from Ratatouille.
Oh,
Anyone
he
can
says
cook.
that.
Yeah.
Anyone can do it. That's really the beauty of it, and that's the beauty of cooking, the beauty of Torah. And I've learned this a lot with Pirkei Avos as we're learning it. That God gives us tools to do whatever we need to do in life. We're born with it, and it's our responsibility to say, "I'm going to take all the tools." It's like you open up a pantry, and some people open up their pantry and they're like, "What do I have?" Or they're looking at it, "What do I don't have?" Like, I don't have this, I don't have that. Oh, God, I can't do it, right? And some people open their pantry and you see winners who win. They're not always cut out to win. They have stories and backstories and they grew up with this and they grew up with that. And it's a choice. And so I found that with learning, like that even though I grew up in a system where it was like you could only, and it wasn't on purpose, I don't blame them. It's just, unfortunately, that's the message given over. You can only be the top if you're the top in everything. If you're a rebel, then you can't learn as much. If you struggle with, hanging out with girls, you can't learn as much. If you want to, go listen to non-Jewish music, you can't learn as much. But what I've learned today as an adult is God gave me an ability to learn a Mishnah. And if I can learn the Mishnah, that means I can give it over. And I used to struggle with like getting a chavrusa. I want to learn. I enjoy it and I want to keep it in my day. But I struggled to keep chavrusa. So I was like, you know what? I'll just host a shir. And I'm accountable. And I have to do it. And if I don't do it, then 5 or 6 guys are losing out because I canceled.
And it works?
It works.
What was the latest year? Or what's the next year?
I'm trying to remember. I skipped last week.
How long
I had a job.
How long are you sharing?
Rarely ever skip. It's about a half hour to 45 minutes, and then we just kind of like talk about whatever comes up. Next thing you know, we're talking about like Gilgulim and like, esoterical stuff, astronomy.
It's like a Shabbos table. Like
It's a Shabbos
Shabbos
table.
table.
Yeah.
Do you ever have meals with other kosher chefs?
So there's a group of kosher chefs called Chefs of the Round Table that I started.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is foster camaraderie and networking between other chefs. We've already had like 6 events.
You said you guys get rowdy, no?
We do get rowdy. It's a lot of fun.
Is it like a pirates pub kind of situation, medieval pub?
There's
got the beer. You're like, hey.
There's no beer, but I will say that there are plenty of chefs who have on and off struggled with addictions or vices. Plenty of chefs drink or smoke.
I've seen that. Why is that?
Because to cook, right? Think about it. When
every like chef, maybe not Jewish chef, they all have tattoos.
I was going to say burns.
They have, that too. But
if I wasn't Jewish, I would have tattoos all over.
They have a tattoo sleeve.
Yeah.
Maybe they got some facial hair.
Yeah.
They look like they've lived another
They've been
life.
through a lot. Well, think about it, right? When you're working, how much of your body are you giving?
My hands and my brain.
Right.
My eyes.
I'm getting burnt. I'm getting cut. I'm standing on my feet for sometimes 15 hours in the kitchen. I am giving everything I have to this job for someone else to eat it in like 5 minutes. And it takes a lot out of you. You have to have a huge capacity to give as a chef. If you don't have that, you get burnt out. And so a lot of chefs, it's work hard, play hard. You'll see chefs like when they're off, they're partying, they're chilling. Not all chefs are partying like crazy, but like they need to let go. We need to like just take it easy sometimes. That's why a lot of chefs drink and smoke. It's just you have to be able to let loose.
What's
my vice?
Yeah. It's not candy.
So I thank God today, like I really don't do much. I smoke cigarettes. Cigarettes. That's my vice nowadays.
Is that a yeshivish thing or?
It started off in yeshiva. It started our Rosh Yeshiva let actually.
Really?
He was like, as long as you smoke on the side of the building.
Do you think that's a good thing? Because you don't see non-yeshivish people smoking.
Not often.
You see them smoking weed, but like not cigarettes.
There's plenty of yeshivish people smoke weed nowadays.
Okay, there are a lot of people smoking cigarettes, but like you got to be like Bukharian or something. My hot takes are going crazy, but
it always comes back to Bukharian.
It does go back to Bukharian. I just don't understand Bukharians. If some Bukharian wants to teach me who they are and
they're like a cross between Russian and like Sephardi.
I just don't know what they're about. I know
Ukrainian.
Uzbekistan is a thing, but that's really
I'm not sure, but it's like a Russian personality with like Sephardi spice.
Yeah.
I
think there's a lot there. I just don't. I haven't had a lot of exposure.
You sound like they're. You don't want to deal with them.
No, I just don't. I don't live in Queens. Like,
is it hurtful because you said you spend all this time making the food, and I never really saw it that way. If you're in a restaurant and they spent a ton of time making the food and you kind of just eat it quickly,
so
is that disrespectful? Is that hurtful?
So that's not the hard part. It's when they don't allow me to tell them what they're eating. I've been by clients where they just dig in. I put the plate down. They don't even wait till everybody's served. And before I start talking, they already ate the food. And I'm like, I didn't even get to tell you what's in it.
Sometimes it doesn't need explanation, though. It just looks so good.
Yes, I'm flattered and honored.
Like, I know sushi is sushi. Like, I don't need a whole...
Yeah, but if I'm serving you a duck crepe with an onion blackberry jam, and there's like 13, 14 different components that went onto that plate, if I tell you about it, your experience is going to be that much better. Again, it's not something I can force, but it does hurt. It's like there's a little part of me that's like, come on, man, you couldn't wait.
We had that. Remember, we went to that restaurant with Chef Santiago.
Yeah.
he explained every single component of the dish. Like we had this chicken. It was just like a regular like popper chicken. It was very good. But he explained it's Peruvian with a little bit of this and Japanese spice. And I loved it. But it's just like, it was regular poppers. It was good. It was better than regular poppers. But the food really spoke to me. And he spoke about it.
He introduced it.
He did.
He introduced it. He told you why he loved to cook that food.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay that I check my phone on this?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Got it.
Okay. Two last questions.
Okay. Hit me.
Number one, which I've kind of been waiting because it's not aggressive. It's a random question
ahead,
that
man.
isn't very important. What's the biggest amount of money that people are spending on one dinner or one meal?
I would say the most they're spending per person is a date night. Average date night with me costs upwards of $2,000.
Whoa.
And so that's like a 4-course dinner. So they're spending about $1,000 a person.
How much is that at like a reserve cut? Same
Reserve
price?
cut, the same thing, would probably cost them about $500 per person.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this is coming to them.
I'm coming to them. So that's another thing I tell clients before I introduce the meal. I am cooking just for you. This is only for you. No one else is getting to taste this food tonight. I didn't make it the same way yesterday. I'm not going to make it the same way tomorrow.
You must meet some really cool people.
I do. I actually, a year to the day that I started cooking as a private chef, I cooked for Isha Ribo.
Mm-hmm.
Cooked for him a few times. I've gotten to know his manager. That was an interesting story, but I did a favor for a friend and, I got to cook for him. I meet just interesting people in the firm world, successful business people, rabbis, by all types of events. And one time there was a Shidduch initiative like event that I was at. I got up and spoke a little bit because I'm divorced and single. So I went up and asked them if they wanted like a different perspective on something. That's another time I got involved. But I meet a lot of interesting people and people from all different types of backgrounds.
There's almost a superpower to being able to go into a room and be fully there and be all you, but also to be able to dial it back and be of service at the same time. Because it gets you into those rooms that other people can't get into when they're just saying everything they mean.
I'll tell you, it's energizing. Like I come away from jobs, and this is the thing I say about my job is that I never, 99% of the time, I leave the job, I'm happy, I'm fulfilled. My body is dead. I wake up the next morning, I'm stiff, but my mind and my soul are alive, and I feel alive. I feel energized, and I just I want to call a friend and just tell them about it. Oh, here's what I served, and here's what they did, and here's being there and being able to be myself. It's a real privilege because think about a lot of workforces. You have to go in and you got to tone down your energy, tone down who you are. You're hiding who you are for 8 hours of the day. It's not a way to live. It's hard. It's really hard. And that's why I tell you guys, if you can bring your energy to the marketing table of what you're trying to sell clients, they're going to hire you more. They want you. There's hundreds of marketing agencies, but you got to be able to figure out how can I sell myself to a client? And that's what I do. When I'm cooking for people, I'm putting me into the food. It's my specific, ideas and techniques, my tricks and tips that I put into the food.
If there's one last message that you could leave everyone with, what would it be?
Don't give up before the dream happens. I worked really hard to build what I'm building. And I'll tell you, I think about quitting every month. Even today, there's reasons, maybe I could do something else. Maybe I can make more money here, more money there. But
you take your network, you start doing wealth management, you're chilling.
Maybe, by the way, there's been, believe me, if I called up some clients and had a good enough business idea, there are people who could invest. But, there's so many reasons to quit doing something. And to be an entrepreneur, to believe in yourself, it takes a certain insaneness. You have to ignore the risks, take risks, and just jump in. And I've had plenty of people tell me it's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. But you have to believe the people who say it will work. You have to believe the encouragement, and don't give up on yourself. If you believe you can do something, that means God gave you something to do. A friend of mine likes to say all the time, he's like, if you can see it, you can achieve it. That's it. Don't give up before the dream happens.
Thank you, Mendy.
Thank you, Mendy.
Pleasure.
That was awesome.
Glad to be here.